Okay, Ryan, is it on the chart we can have a quick look at, or is it something you can draw on the whiteboard?
I think, let me just, Jon, do you remember what pair you were looking at?
Yes, I was looking Euro GPI and which one? Euro GBP. Euro GBP. Yeah.
Euro pound. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. If we see the last trend,
this last move here.
Yeah, from here to here.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Enlarge more from here, yeah, to here. Let's say.
Yeah, may I'll make it bigger.
Okay. Okay. I think this is the chart. Euro GPI 1 hour.
Is it euro pound or euro yen?
Euro yen, sorry.
Euro yen. Okay. Yeah, no worries. Euro yen. Okay, that's euro yen.
From here to here.
Okay.
Okay. From my point of view, the trend started from here.
Okay.
Then it reached this one. After that, we have a new guy who started it, which is here.
Yep.
And it went until here. After that, I'm not sure if this guy is taken out. It seems to be a probe.
Yes.
So I do not count it, but here we have another break from here, and this could be the last break, last guy who started it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. After that, here I do not consider a break because it's just wheels and tails.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look. So if I remove all that for now, and if I zoom into, so if I put my cursor just here, there is a slight close below that last point. You see, there's a body closing below that lowest point. Can you see that?
Yes, I can see it.
Yeah, so if that's the case, then you have a last guy here. This is no longer the last guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have a new guy here.
Oh, hello,
yep.
Until here.
Hello. Yeah.
Okay, after that, the buyers took the last guy who started it.
Yep.
And we have here the guy who started it until here.
Yep.
And from here to here, in this range, there is buyer sells, and then after that, this line is broken. We have the guy who started it, which is taken starting with this here.
Okay, very good.
Okay, so here we have this guy who started it until here. After that, I can see a break, and I consider this guy who started it.
Okay.
Okay. Here, if we enlarge it, we can see this small. Where is it? Yeah.
You're up to here right now.
Yes. How can I do it? I put a line. Okay. Here we can see here a line. If we have this guy who started it, which one will be considered? This one or this one? Or this one?
I mean that one, or that one?
Yes.
Is that what you mean?
Yes, which one is the break? Because here I cannot see the clear break. I can see a little bit of body here.
Yeah. So what happens over here? This is the lowest point over here. Prices go up and it comes down, wasn't able to come down at this point, correct?
Yes.
Then what it does is it goes back up like that. And then it crashes down. When it crashes down, this time it does close below that line as a body.
Correct.
Whether it's here, they all close as a body, right? So we say that this is that point where it crashes down. So your last seller is somewhere here. And I'll talk about this being your last seller and why not, what do you do with the wick? But whatever the case is, your last seller sits over here. That's one piece coming down.
Okay, but the last seller, it's a zone or it's just a point? Let's say here or here. On which candle?
So this, you see, this whole thing is your last seller. But when it depends how you are going to use it. So for now, we say, all right, it goes up, it comes down. That's your last seller, right? However, to then we say, okay, to clear this area out, you will need a proper break, right? A proper break of the last seller, which includes that wick, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Okay, so to break this last seller, it needs to, the confusion with this one for you all is that the wick or the wick has come in a bit too big. That's why it's maybe it's confusing you. But whatever the case is, we say this is my last seller. So my last seller becomes, let's say that whole thing is your last seller, for example, right? And then when you're waiting for it to break above to create your trap, it needs to clear the wick as well properly.
Understand. Okay.
Yeah. Now that's one point. However, there is one piece that I'll be talking about in the coming days, which is, let's say this is your last seller. You have a wick, you have a body, and then you have your move down, correct? So you have your last seller, that's your last seller. This is that move coming down. This is the end of the body. And this is your wick over here. So,
Yes.
So in the coming days, I'll explain. So if I remove this, I'll explain something about when prices come up, whether it begins to hold inside that body or whether it begins to hold at the wick. What does it mean? That's the piece I want to leave for later on. Okay, but for now, to answer your question, this is your last seller coming down, and we need a clear takeout of it, including any wick.
Yeah.
So that's considered clear here.
Yes, that's good enough.
Yeah. So this is a guy who started it, which is taken.
Yep.
Yeah. And we have here another guy who started it for buying until here.
Okay, so to remove any confusion, remove any confusion for now, always look at it from one end, which is you're coming down. That's your last seller. It didn't go down. Okay, that's your last seller, right? Always look at the sellers. Don't look at the buyers on the other end at this stage. So yeah, so let's say, for example, you have this move coming down, you have your last seller, your last seller, your last seller. Look at it that way with the trend, your last sellers. Don't look at, oh, that's also a last buyer going up. You see, don't look at it that way at this stage. It will confuse you at this moment.
Okay, but if we are here, what will we interpret? If we are, I don't know, here. Sorry. If we are here,
okay.
So we see only this part, only this part from here to here. Do we consider this is a break or?
Yeah, so this is your last seller that comes down. That's the lowest point. It gives you a pullback to go down. Doesn't go down. It goes right through it. We say we have a trap.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a trap. Now we have a trap. This is your trap area. It comes back to lift off. It doesn't lift off. We'll talk about it. Why it's not lifting up. What do you do with this?
Mm-hmm.
Right? But it's done its job. It's giving you a trap. The buyers are here and comes back to release. That's your release point. But the lift off is just that. And I'll talk about that properly in the coming days.
Okay.
Yeah.
So to continue with this downtrend, this is the last guy who started in. It is taken here. And this is another guy who started it.
Perfect.
Yeah. And after that, we have a break. Where is the last guy? Here or here? What?
So this is
here or here? Yeah.
This whole lot. So you see, always look at it that way. This is your lowest point, right? It wasn't able to break at least up to this stage. Now, this is that move up, comes down, cannot do this. Okay. Move goes up. Now it crashes. So we say that whole thing is your last seller at the top.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And after that, we consider this break. The guy who started it is taken here.
Yes, but by the time it moves out properly, we say, okay, this is out, completely gone.
Okay, and the new guy who started it up, it's somewhere here. Here.
Okay.
I have some doubts here or here.
Yeah. Like I said, when you're looking at, say, prices coming down, only look at it from the last seller's point of view. Don't switch to where the last buyer is, if that makes sense. But if it's only for, say, chart reading and understanding, then yes, let's have a quick look.
Here I looked after a trap. Yeah. After a trap, and the trends changed.
Okay, so what you're looking for is this. You're looking for a move down, a move down, a move down, a move down. All these are your last sellers that have performed, including that one. Right? Now, when you have your last seller, which is this piece over here, you're then saying, okay, well, give me a pullback so people will look to sell it. That's the whole idea. People will look to sell it. However, you would say, okay, well, I don't want to sell it because it's overextended. I want a trap instead. So I can begin to look at other stuff to do with this. So a pullback comes in. Instead of it dropping down, it goes all the way up. Now, when it goes all the way up, what you have is a trap below. Okay. Then what you say, okay, well, I'm not going to deal with this that high, and I'm not going to, I haven't entered a buy or a sell at all at this stage. I'm just watching it. So then the price comes back to your trap area. And this is where you have your release. Now, so far, the whole idea is that the buyers are here and they will look to buy from this trap area and take it higher. That's the whole idea. But once the whole price comes back to the trap to release, that's the whole point. However, this is just a concept that we are discussing right now to show you what a trap is, what a release means. The bigger question, or the more important question, is that what do you do over here? What sort of a move down is this? Is it a downtrend? Is it something else? Based on what this piece is, you will either buy or sell around this release area according to that story.
Okay, the story is a refresh, but we do not talk about it. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
not yet. Yes, not yet. Not yet. Yeah. So for now, to make it easier for you, for now, whatever, if your move is down,
We look only down. Okay.
look only down. Right? Look only down. Only look at the last sellers, and don't look at where the last buyer is. I will open this up in a day or two, and then we can discuss it further.
Okay, thank you very much. I wanted to find the trap, and I found it.
Good.
Okay.
Good.
I just have one quick question.
Yeah.
Can you just go to the left a little bit?
Yeah.
All right, so just say we had this point was the low. Say these previous wicks, they actually went much lower down, but closed above.
Yeah.
And then I get this candle close here.
Yeah.
So I can consider this now a new low, or do I have to worry about how strong these ones came back?
No. So you're looking at, let's say this is your last seller that comes down, and this is your lowest point. This becomes your focal point. So you say, okay, well, price has come down now. Oh, it's probed right back in without closing outside this previous low. So this remains as your focal point. Okay, again, price comes right back in without closing as a body outside this focal point. And then so on and so forth until you see, look, there's a close of a body outside this focal point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. No, that's clear. Good. Thanks.
Yeah.
Because I see that a lot, maybe, around news events, or maybe, during Asia, and then I get confused whether I need to make my breaks lower now.
Yeah. And the reason for that is, don't forget, you're focused more on that last seller and breaking through that last seller. All these are parts of a pullback. All these probes coming back in and out are part of that pullback. You're trying to break through this lowest point that the seller created.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's dig deeper. Now, so far, by the sound of it, you all understand the whole trap. Now, what we've said up until yesterday is that if you have a move up and this is your last buyer and a pullback comes in instead of lifting off, it just crashes down. You have a trap above, and this whole thing becomes your trap. So never compromise that information, that this whole thing becomes your trap. And I'll explain why that's important. However, when prices come back up, so a release happens from that trap area, the question is, from that big trap area, where would it come to before it releases and comes down? So today we'll talk about, okay, how do we draw our trap area? Where should it come? What scenarios do we have? What type of traps generally are created? And so on. Yeah? Okay. So I'll start with type number 1. However, type number 1 will make a bit more sense when we cover type number 2 and type number 3. But nonetheless, we'll start with type number 1. So we have a move up and prices begin to come down, come down, come down. Now, generally, if you are looking at this, what do you think? Where would the buyers generally look to buy up from in this buyer's territory? Any idea?
From resistance.
From that point?
Yeah.
Yes.
Bridge.
And yes. And also that point, that's also correct. However, that's the first area that comes, it comes first. So that's the piece that they're looking for. And I'll explain the difference between this and this in a minute. Yeah. So that's the first logical area, SNR, that comes where the buyers are saying, if it comes around here, if it does so and so, I'll begin to buy from this area. Yeah. Now, if you see, this is type number 1. If you see price comes, let's say this is your 60-minute chart, and goes completely through that SNR and goes through everything and creates a trap above, we call this a lopsided trap. What this means is that on this time frame, as it's coming through that SNR, although we cannot see the buyers attempting to buy before it drops, there is bound to be buyers attempting to buy from this SNR on a smaller time frame. So when you go to a smaller time frame, you'll see buyers trying to build orders to buy from this SNR, but they fail and it crashes down. So this lopsidedness, we assume there is definitely someone in a lower time frame looking to buy this. However, they failed and they created a trap overall because your last buyer is taken out. The way we draw our trap in this scenario is we take a line from that SNR all the way up to that top point, and that becomes our trap area. This whole thing becomes our trap area. What does this mean? It means that when prices come back for the release, it can come back to the underside of this trap. It can come in deeper or deeper or deeper or deeper or deeper or deeper, as much as it wants before it releases. Where will it stop within this trap area? We'll talk about it in the coming days. How can we tell it stopped and it's going to come and release, whether from here, 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 here? That's something we'll talk about. However, you need to understand that any move down prior to it touching the trap is not a release. It's not a release. It's only a release when it touches the trap area and then it goes down. So far, so good, everyone?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Now, the key piece here is that we've drawn our trap area from the very last buyer who tried to build an order to take it up, but it collapses and it comes down, creating a trap overall. That's the key word, and it will make more sense in the next two examples. But type 1, lopsided, that's how you draw your trap area from the SNR all the way to the top. Okay, now, so far so good. Shall we move to type number 2?
Yes.
Okay. Type number 2 is again same buyer. Prices come back to your SNR, a logical area, and it begins to hold. So far, do we have a trap?
No.
No.
Not yet.
No trap. However, as soon as it drops down and takes out that last buyer, we say there is an overall trap. However, from that overall, the only piece that we are more interested in is that piece. We say this is that piece where prices will come back to do its release and come down. Okay? Yeah. Now,
Yes.
why this piece? Because this is the very last attempt from the buyers in that buyer's territory to build orders, to fly up. Instead of flying up, it crashes down and takes out that last buyer. So we say these people are trapped within that bigger trap, and I want prices at this trap area to do my release. Again, when it comes back here, how do we tackle it? How do we further refine? Okay, is it stopping? Where is it stopping within that whole area? And we say, now it's time for it to go. And we'll cover that in the coming days. Okay, that's type number 2. Keyword, a hold, last buyers at a logical area. Okay, type number 3, last buyers, prices come down. This is the first SNR. It doesn't stop. It goes past it. It comes and sits at the last buyer, where the last buyer is, and it begins to hold over here at the last buyer. Yeah, I'll just remove this. At this stage, do we have any trap?
No.
No. As soon as this happens, we say, very good, trap has happened overall. However, release, we're expecting it to come to that these last buyers who built orders to launch, but they collapsed. Yeah? Okay. Now, the one thing that you may be thinking right now is that, okay, Ali, we understand you have logical areas and you have a hold, especially with type 2 and type 3. And same with type 3, you have a logical area and a hold. Shall we not just wait for a hold? Why are we naming it type 2, type 3? Is it important to name it type 2, type 3? No, it's not. As long as you understand that you need a build-up at a logical area, that's more important. But there's another reason to why we're doing it this way. So let me remove all this and show you a few scenarios. Everyone's good so far? That's the three types of traps you may have. Okay. Now, let's say you've got your last buyer. And let's say you have prices coming down as a pullback and it begins to hold. Do I have a trap at this stage?
No.
No.
If this happens, do I have a trap at the stage?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, very good. So if I have a trap at this stage, who can tell me what sort of a trap is this?
One.
One.
I think one.
Excellent. Excellent. Why? Because as part of the pullback, the hold has come up at a non-logical area. Right? So we say, okay, you held here for a bit, but the way you've broken through all these logical areas is more like a lopsided drop. So in this case, we say, that's fine. We'll simply draw our trap area from the SNR all the way up to the top as our trap area. That becomes your scenario. Now, if let's say a trap hasn't happened yet and prices come down, begin to stop at this SNR and they begin to hold. Do I have a trap at this stage?
No.
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 If it does this, do I have a trap at the stage?
Yes.
Very good. So in this case, where would you draw your trap area?
The last. Yes, Ryan.
Very good. Very good. That becomes your trap area because they're the last buying orders, building of orders at a logical area before the trap happens. Okay. Now, so far, it's straightforward. What if that build-up happens and the drop happens and it does this? Do we have a trap yet?
No.
No. And then begins to hold. Do we have a trap yet?
No.
No.
Now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Now where would we draw our trap area?
At the last bar.
Last build up.
Excellent. Excellent. Because they're the very last build-up that tried to lift off at a logical area. It collapsed down, and the sellers in this build-up was so strong that it was able to not just break through the build-up, but completely break through the last buyer as well.
So a question for trap 1 and 2, the entire trap area is drawn from SNR up. And then for type 3, it's drawn from that last buyer up, correct? So everyone from the last buyer.
So
Right.
type 3 is only this piece.
Yeah,
Here?
exactly.
To here,
Right.
yes. Yeah.
Right, but then also does it include up or it's just that?
Just that.
Like-
Just that.
Okay, so it's not all the way up to the
No.
top.
No.
All right, got it. Thank you.
So type 1, where it does a lopsided takeout, it's from the SNR all the way up. Then type 2 is where you have prices come to your SNR and then it creates a trap. Then it's just that piece, which is your trap, and not all the way up.
Got it. Thank
And
you.
Yeah, and then type 3, same. When it comes here, then it's just that piece as your trap and not all the way up. Yeah. Okay. So hence, now you will know that, okay, yes, you have ranges. There is a range at a logical area, SNR. There's also a range at another logical area where the buyer is. But whenever you have a trap, the one that you need to consider is the one that is the very last one that creates a build-up before a takeout. Yeah. Now, what if this happens? What if this happens and instead of it dropping below, it does this first, holds, and then it crashes? Where's the trap?
That'd be your SNR, yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. What if this happens? It goes all the way up, holds, and then it crashes. Okay. Very good. Whoever is drawing a lopsided, yes, it's a lopsided because the very last build-up is nowhere close to a logical area. That was a trick question, but yeah, that's good. Yeah. So in this case, this from the SNR all the way up, all the way up to that top becomes your trap area as a lopsided trap. Okay, now, so far so good, everyone?
Yes.
Okay, now there is something I mentioned to you all yesterday, that when you have your last buyer, we said whenever you have a pullback and you're looking for it to break that last buyer, you will need it to break convincingly, correct? The reason for that is this. When you have your type 3 that comes all the way down to where your buyer is and it begins to hold, sometimes, or generally, I say generally, with certain other factors, which I'll talk about tomorrow, you might see it do this, spike right back in. Do this, spike right back in. Generally, when you have a type 3 trap, this spikes right back in, and then it begins to break down. That's why we say always wait for a proper break. You don't want to get caught in these fake outs when it's type 3. When it happens, I'll talk about it tomorrow, exactly when it happens. Yeah? Okay. Another scenario to cover is, let's say, for example, in this case, you have your move up, you have your pullback, and then you have your launch. You see, between your SNR and between your last buyer, there's a nice distance. So if your pullback comes in to your SNR, holds, or it comes back down to your last buyer and holds, you can clearly tell where it's holding. Is it the SNR or is it the last buyer? But sometimes you'll have a move up and your distance between your SNR and last buyer is that small. And then it goes up. And then prices come back and then they begin to hold in between. And you're like, is it type 2? Is it type 3? What exactly is this? The answer is it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It begins to hold at a logical area, whether it's your SNR, whether it's your last buyer, they all are logical areas. Yeah, this becomes your trap area for your release. Yeah. Okay. Any questions so far?
Yeah, I got one.
Shall we do a quick recap on the flip side? You've got a move down. You've got your last seller. This is your last seller. If prices come up and they go past that SNR and go right through it as a lopsided, that's your type 1. Lopsided. How would you draw your trap area over here? Excellent. Okay. One thing to remember is if you have a wick or a tail over here at that SNR, always draw it from the body. Draw your trap from the body. It's very important. Yeah, draw it from the body all the way down. Yeah. Okay. Let's say you have your last seller again. And prices come up, begin to hold. And then you have a trap. How would you draw your trap area? And what type of trap is this?
Type 2.
Type 2.
That's the holding, from the hold area.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay. And then you've got your what do we have here?
3.
Number 3.
Number 3. And that's your trap area. Yeah. Now, it generally is number 3. Because of number 3, you say, I want a proper takeout. Number 3 and a few other factors, but number 3 is the main one when it comes to these ones. But there's other factors why you need a proper break of the last seller, where this hold at the last seller may fight. And then you get caught, you say, oh, it's a takeout of the last seller, and then comes right back in, right back in, right back in. Until then you see a proper breakup. You say, oh, that was it, not these. But there's a way to know beforehand if this is going to do all that. I'll talk about it. You can know beforehand that it's going to give me problems. It won't do this straight away. Okay. Okay, and then let's do some other scenarios so you can see the flip side of it. If you have, let's say, prices coming up, holds. Any trap yet?
No.
Comes up, holds. Any trap yet?
No.
No.
Okay. Comes down, holds. No trap yet. What about now?
Mm-hmm.
Trap. Overall as a trap, where would you draw your trap area?
SNR.
Very good. Very good. Why? Because they were the last selling build up. To go lower, it doesn't. The buyers say, we are stronger. They take it high. That
Good
becomes
question.
that becomes your trap area. Yes.
This isn't related to the actual trap 1, 2, and 3, but just from your comment on the wick, right? So if we were to draw, sorry, I'm just going to draw, if we had a wick here, right, down to here, right, we would not have a lower low until we get a full closed body below this wick, right? So like just to get a new set of a last buyer and last seller, right? So we need a full close below this wick, and then from there we would measure, you know, somewhere in an area, I don't know, around here or something, we get a new last seller. Is that correct?
Yeah. So if your tail is that big, for example,
Yeah.
and it goes back up, comes down, and never closes as a body below this line, below this last price, then we say this is not our last seller.
Right. That's what I drew it so big. Okay, thank you. Thanks for
Yeah.
clearing that up. Appreciate it.
No worries. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions?
Can I ask one question?
Sure.
Suppose price is coming down and pull back and this happen. Can it happen like this? If it goes above this and do like this and went away, just leaving this above this.
Yeah.
Is it possible?
Yes.
So what type of this is it?
Yes. So this is the one where I said I need to talk about it a bit more. However, let's talk about it slightly, as long as you all are good with everything else. And if I go deeper, you're not confused. Let's do it now. Yeah. Are you all good so far?
I'm good.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So you see, if you have a scenario where you have your last seller and prices begin to go right up above the last seller and it begins to hold, and then it goes, right? What this is saying is the following. First of all, your hold is above your last seller. So it's not type 3, it's not type 2, it's actually a lopsided. It's gone through your last seller completely. So your trap would be here somewhere as a lopsided. That's the first thing. Now, the way I want you all to look at this is this, that your seller is so weak that the pullback comes, or the buyers come right through it and they begin to hold above the last seller as if this last seller never existed. That's how strong the buyers are, right? So that hold is actually a good thing. It's telling us that the buyers are very strong. It's giving us information. Why? Because if your last seller is strong, then generally the way you see it is prices begin to go up, go up, go up, go up, go up, and it's trying to break above, it just slams down and the sellers take it back down. That's where you say the sellers are very strong. Right? So yes, a hold above, it tells you that the buyers are in control, they're stronger, but it's not one that you say, oh, this is a type 3 or type 2 or whatever, but it's actually a type 1. It's a lopsided takeout. Yeah. And in the coming days, I'll explain this piece, that we spoke about earlier, that what if you have a wick over here? And if it's holding at that wick, what happens? I'll talk about that. I don't want to go that deep right now. Yeah. Make sense, James?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, let's do this. Let's take a quick 5 minutes break. We come back. Let's have a look at some examples on the chart. And then after that, we'll go a bit deeper. Okay. Okay, shall we start?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the example we did last time. If you have this price coming down, it's just as a concept right now, don't worry about what this whole piece is as a concept, so we can begin to draw our traps properly. So you have prices coming down, and you all said that this is your last seller coming all the way down to here. So let's zoom into this. And I want you all to tell me what sort of a trap is this, and how would you draw your trap area? Okay, so last seller comes down. Have a look at where the logical areas are for this. First of all, where do you think your SNRs are, or SNR is?
Here. Oh,
Okay, shall I help out? This is correct. Okay, let's do it a bit slower. Now, prices are coming down. That's the lowest point. Let's draw a line. Yeah, lowest point. Now, what we want is we want a close below that price as a body. So lowest point, prices go up, go up, go up, go up, go up. When it comes down, it doesn't crash down. Goes up again, 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 doesn't. Goes up again, doesn't. Goes up again, doesn't. Goes up again now, crashes down. We're looking at the very last move up before it crashes down. That becomes our SNR.
mhm.
Yeah, that becomes our SNR. Okay, so in this case, should I draw my trap from that wick all the way down, or from the body of that SNR all the way down? What do you think?
From the body.
From the body. Yeah. You will see time and time again when prices come back to the trap area and the move is so strong, it simply touches the upper side of that trap, which is drawn from the body, and then it goes. So if you draw it from the wick, then you might have prices come short and then go away, and you'll miss out. Yeah. Okay, straightforward. Shall we move to another one?
Yes.
This is your type 1 trap. Let's have a look at another one. Okay. So current market, prices are going up, going up, going up. That's the highest point. Why is it the highest point? Because if I put a line above all this, you can clearly see it has closed as a body above the whole lot. Yeah. So what we are trying to see is who is that buyer that was able to take it up and close above as a body? Who's that buyer? Okay. So who can give this a go? Excellent. Excellent. Why is that? Because you have a move down, it goes up, cannot go high. Comes down, cannot go high. Comes down, now it can go high. Yeah. Okay. So we say we have our last buyer here. There seems to be some sort of a gap, a weekend gap, which is fine, right? We have a last buyer here somewhere, and then it goes up. First of all, who can tell me where the SNR is for this last buyer over here? Where's the SNR? Perfect. That's the SNR over here. Now, this is your last buyer. This is your SNR. Prices go up. They come back as a pullback. It begins to hold, where in between the SNR and the last buyer, in between. It crashes down, creating an overall trap. Does it matter if we call it type 2 or type 3?
No.
Doesn't matter. It's a trap. It's a hold in a logical area. That's fine. So we simply draw our trap, top of the hold, bottom of the hold. That becomes your trap area. Yeah. Any questions so far before I look at another example? Any questions, any concerns, any confusion you may have? Let's tackle it now.
Yeah, I have a question regarding this pause here.
Yeah.
If we can consider it like a buyer goes back and crash. But we are into the last guy who started it.
Yeah.
Here, so we do not consider a break. Okay. But regarding this leg, we can consider in two pieces or something like this.
Yeah. So as a move up, whenever you have any confusion as such, I mean, this right now, this one is more of a move up, a very tiny hold, and then it continues up. So, yeah. But if there's any confusion as such at any given point, right, always go back and check with your correlation. Let's say you check with New Zealand USD, check with Euro USD, check with Pound USD, and see are the rest, do they have some sort of a hold like this, and then it's going up, right? Then that will give you a bit more confirmation. But if not, simply say, that's my move up.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, it always helps to go back to the other pairs just to confirm if there's any doubt.
Yeah, so we check with Aussie or USD groups.
USD groups. Yeah. So either USD groups or Aussie groups. It could be coming from the Aussie group, could be coming from the USD group. Just have a quick check.
Okay. Thank you.
No worries. Yeah. Okay. Let's have a look at another one. Okay, so let's say we're looking at this move coming down. This is the lowest point. Who can tell me where is your last seller to start with? Perfect, perfect. So last seller comes down, that's your lowest point, goes up, comes right back in. Do we have a trap at this stage?
No.
No. Why?
Because we do not have a strong taken of the last guy who started it.
Exactly, exactly. We don't have a proper takeout of this last seller. Now, what it does is goes up, comes right back in. That shows your seller is still very strong. Yeah, still very strong. Now, then what it does is it comes back here, goes up, comes down, goes up, comes down, goes up. Do we have a trap now?
Yes.
We have a trap now, right? It goes up, takes out this last seller convincingly. We say perfect. Now, what sort of a trap do we have?
Go on.
Did you say what? Are you all good with one?
Yeah, lopsided.
Spot on. Don't be confused with, oh, is this a hold? Is that a hold? No, because what this simply is, it goes up, comes down, goes up, comes down, goes up. It's simply, like we always say, a walk in the park. It's just going up as normal. There's no hold as such. Yeah. So you say this whole thing is a lopsided and your SNR here somewhere, and that whole thing is your trap area. Sorry, this up to here. Yeah.
Can I ask, say the second leg of that came down lower, would that mean that we would draw the box at the lower part? Does that make sense?
Which one's that, Donald?
Oh, sorry. So say the second leg came down lower, would we then draw the trap at that part, or would we stick to the previous low?
Yeah. So if this is your last seller, however, when it goes up, it begins to come down and come lower and close lower, then we say no longer last seller. My last seller is here somewhere. And
oh, right. Sorry. Say it comes back in and just wicks. Would we draw it at that wick or keep it at that one?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Sorry.
If it, yeah, no worries. So if it does break below, come back, and then close as a wick, then yes, it would be from here all the way down to the bottom over here.
Okay, gotcha. Perfect. Thank you.
No worries. Okay, any more questions? You see, over here, breaks up, begins to hold. That shows strength. It broke away from the last seller and it's holding. Broke strong and then it's holding. That shows strength. That shows the buyers are very strong. At least up to the stage, they're very strong. However, if it does this and then comes right back in, you're like, did something else hit it and it's rejected completely? We'll talk about that properly in the coming days. Okay. All right, let's have a look at another one. So you have some practice. Okay, so you've got prices coming down. We say this is the lowest point, and let's mark our last seller. Let's mark our trap. Who wants to give it a go? Okay, that's excellent. But do you all know why it's this and why none of these? Are you all good with that?
The last
Yes.
seller.
The last seller. Do you all know why it's this one, like you all marked, and not these?
All the others
Yes.
stopped, and well, that last one was the one that actually
Went
closed
through.
lower.
Yes, yes. So let me do it very quickly, so at least everyone is clear. Prices coming down, coming down, coming down, coming down. Okay, it's coming down. Let's mark this and put a line over here, and we say, all right, it begins to go up. It doesn't crash down or doesn't close down as a body as such. So we say, okay, this still is the lowest point, and this still is the last seller. So far, so good? Yeah. Okay. Then it goes up, comes down, does not break below. We say we don't have a break below. This still is the last seller. Goes up, cannot break below. Goes up slightly, cannot break below. Goes up slightly. Now it comes down and closes as a body outside that lowest point. So we say now we can move that last seller to here. And that becomes our last seller. Yeah. So last seller, that's the lowest point. What happens after?
Consolidation.
We have a week here. Or yeah.
Yep.
Which is not a break.
Yep.
So there is not a lower low. The body is up, but the last buyer is taken. The last seller, sorry, is
Sure.
taken.
Yep.
Lopsides.
Very good. Very good. You both are spot on. So you have your move down. That's your last seller. Your last seller comes to here. That's your lowest point to start with over here. Yeah. That's your lowest point. Then it goes up, begins to hold, begins to hold, begins to hold, tries to break below that lowest point, cannot. Goes right back up and creates a trap, takes out the last seller. Now that hold, is that hold at a logical area at the moment? So if I put my cursor on this hold, do you see it touching the SNR? Do you see it touching the last seller?
No.
No. So we say this hold is on its own. It's not at a logical area. When it begins to break up, it's a lopsided takeout. And for that, we will have to draw a lopsided trap. How would you draw it in this case?
from the body. Or
Oh, sorry, I missed the wicks there. My fault. But you get the point.
Think about it. Think about it. Where would you draw it exactly?
let's say
Okay, it's getting closer. It's getting closer. Let's do it together. So goes up. Okay, that's spot on. Goes up, comes down, goes up, comes down, goes up, comes down, goes up. This is that piece that it goes up and then it slams down. So we say, let's focus on that. Yeah. So if we focus on that, then for that piece, this is that SNR, and this is the body of the SNR. And you take it all the way down, this time to here. This is your question, Donald, exactly what you asked earlier. This becomes your trap area. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So one more question about this whole area right here. So like with the SNR being at that body, where the wick comes down to, these wicks seem to be touching it. So sorry, let me draw a line so I'm not just, but this area right here, where that wick came down to, these other wicks are coming to it, and it kind of created a situation where it looked to me like that was holding at a logical area.
Yeah.
So I would have considered that as a type 2.
Okay, so just to remove any confusion for all of you, if you see these holding, and then the wicks are touching any of that SNR, whether it's say the wick or the body, you say, okay, I'm having a type 2. In this case, it doesn't. So if I put my cursor on the highest wick over here, you see it's not touching that SNR, right? That's generally the case. However, the important thing is that you draw your trap properly and you do it that way. However, one thing to keep in mind is that when it comes back for the release, when it does that and comes back for the release, if it's like I said, too fast and wants to go early, it will simply touch the upper side of that trap and then go. That's a possibility. And we will time, okay, is it getting ready to go or not? We will do that together. However, because this whole thing is your trap and it can come in as a lopsided, it can come in anywhere within that trap, there is a high, if it's got enough time, and generally, let's say when it's this piece is coming down during Asia or during a slower market, or let's say at a later point, a news is coming out, so it's got enough time to do its bit, then more likely than not, it will come down to these areas where there's a build-up before it launches. However, it's very important to draw your trap properly and not wait for it to come back to here, because if it comes back this way and it goes, then you should not be confused why it's done that. It's done it because it's a lopsided trap and it can do that. But if it's got enough time, it can easily come back to these areas and then go. But whether it comes here, we will further time it and say, now it's getting ready to go. So we'll talk about that. But don't be confused when you say, oh, this whole thing is your trap. Why is it going from here? That's a possibility, from that upper side. Oh, look, it's coming down to this area. Okay, that's a possibility as well. So all those are on the table. They can happen. And we'll time it. Okay, when is it getting ready to go? So we'll do that. But I want you all to begin to also see that, okay, it does this when it's fast and let's say the market is opening or there is news coming out. It's very active. It just touches and goes. it's got a bit more time. Let's say Asia is coming in or news is coming out within next 2 hours, it comes in deeper and then it goes. As you will begin to see when these scenarios play out. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Any questions before we go deeper so far?
Yeah, I have a quick question on the why more so. Like,
Yeah.
so, and maybe I'm getting too far ahead here, but I get why the lopsided, the lopsided trap is, stronger because, sellers aren't really stepping in to do anything, right? So that the logic behind that makes sense, right? We wouldn't expect much of a pullback, low in the trap area on type 1 because there weren't any sellers to begin with. But when it comes to type 2 and 3, right? Like what's, I guess, the difference or in terms of strength, like what's the why or the logic behind, why that would be quote unquote weaker for, in this case, the buyers?
Sure. That's a good question.
Thank you.
So you see, you have your setup over here. However, like I said earlier, what's important is what's before it, the story before it. So if the story is saying to you that it's a very strong downtrend, right? There's a lot of selling pressure. So even if that is your last seller and you have your lopsided takeout, then because of that strong selling pressure, the release may come in very deep and then go. If the overall is more of a buying pressure, then your release may just do that and then go. So whatever is before it, prior to it, is of utmost importance. Yeah, that's the first thing. Secondly, let's say this whole thing is a big range, for example, and we know that ranges, you have both sellers and buyers, they both are very active, they both are very strong. So in that case, that can come in even deeper. Yeah, so it just depends on what market state you are in, what the bigger story is. That's a lot more important than just a setup. We are starting backwards, starting from the setup, just so you can understand how to read the market, how to read the charts. But eventually you will know that it's the bigger story that has an upper edge.
Got it. I'm excited for that bigger story part.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Now, so far, what we've done is we've said, whatever you do, you need a trap. If you don't have a trap, you won't have a trade. You can't trade. You have to have a trap. And I'll show you how we put it all together. But for now, we say you need to have a trap to trade. Now you'll begin to see a trap everywhere. If you go to your chart, you see a trap everywhere, right? Now our main objective is to now say which trap is strong, which trap is weak. How do we put that strong trap within the bigger story and so on? So now it's filtering out or putting or adding layers to those trap and saying this trap is strong, this trap is weak. The very first thing that we add to our trap is volumes. Yeah. Now, if I was to ask you, what do you think, what brings in volumes in the market generally?
Market open.
Market opens, yes. Yes. What
Maybe
else?
big players.
What's that?
The big boy.
Activity.
News.
Yes.
Prices that people are interested in.
Activity, you mean? More activity? Yeah, yeah. What else? What else? News?
News.
Yeah, news. Okay, all those bring in volumes in the market. Now, we're going to break down volumes into two. We're going to break it down into overview volume analysis. So I'll just call it O, overview, and then detailed volume analysis. Okay, I'll explain what this is. Let's say, for example, you've got okay, so just by looking at what I've drawn, and let's say you come to your 60 minutes and you see what you see right now. As an overall trend, what do you see?
Uptrend.
Uptrend? You all good with that? Uptrend?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Now, what else do you see at the bottom, at the top?
Traps.
Traps, extreme traps over here, trap over here. Yeah. Okay. Now, if I added volume at the bottom, let's say you have high volume at the bottom, and let's say you have low volume at the top. So high volume at the bottom, low volume at the top, the higher it goes. Any idea what this means? What does higher volume at the bottom mean?
You got more buyers.
Get more buyers? Yes.
Activity. Maybe it's an SNR.
More activity? Yes. Yes. Yes, that's a good point.
The seller is withdrawing.
Okay, let's come back to that in a moment.
Well, we give more weight to the trap at the bottom than we would to the top.
Very good. Very good. Whenever you have more volume at the bottom, it simply means there is more buying pressure. The pressure on the buy side is a lot stronger, a lot higher. And of course, whenever you have low volume at the top, it means there is lower selling pressure. Okay. And of course, if we flip it around, if we say, oh, there is high volume at the top, it means there is more selling pressure at the top. The more volume you have, the more pressure you have. That's what it means. But the volume for the top is your selling pressure. The volume for the bottom is your buying pressure. It's that volume which allowed it to push up with strength. That's what it means. Okay, now let's create some scenarios and understand what we're dealing with. Let's say you have high volume at the bottom and you have high volume at the top. What does that mean to start with?
Equilibrium.
Very good, very good. So there is strong buying pressure, there is strong selling pressure. What does that mean? That means there is both the buyers and sellers are actively looking at this piece. Now, if you think about it, generally, in what market structure do you find both buyers and sellers actively fighting?
Range.
In a range, correct? So what this information is telling you is that you could be in a higher time frame range right now. That's why you're getting high volume at the bottom, high volume at the top. Yeah, so far so good?
Yeah.
Okay, now let's switch things around. Let's say you have high volume at the bottom, low volume at the top. Again, high volume at the bottom means higher buying pressure or stronger buying pressure. Lower volume at the top means lower selling pressure. What do you think this move may be on a higher time frame?
Okay.
It's a strong momentum up. Very good. Yeah. Okay. Let's switch things around. Let's say you have high selling pressure at the top and low buying pressure at the bottom. What could this be on the higher time frame?
Reverse. Maybe.
It could be some sort of
Pullback.
a
Selling
pullback.
pressure's coming.
Yeah, some sort of a pullback coming in for a downtrend. Yes. Yeah, so it gives you all that information without you having to go to the higher time frame. Now, what we've done so far is we've simply done an overview analysis from bottom to top or top to bottom and saying, where is the pressure overall? Is it at the bottom or is it at the top? To get that bias. Now, that's giving you information about what could the higher time frame be? What could this move up be? Is it a strong uptrend? Is it part of a bigger range? Is it part of a pullback coming down? What is it? Yeah, that's one information the overview volume gives you. Now, if let's say for any reason, let's say you have your strong buying pressure and then smaller or lower selling pressure. Let's say you have an opportunity, don't go on my drawing, but just you get an opportunity to buy this and you begin to buy this with that buying pressure. Now, if you buy this and if you begin to go up, 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 would this area be any concern to you where you say, I worry about this trap above, I need to come out completely?
Yeah, this trap area.
Sure.
If there is a low volume, no concern.
If there is low volume, then this area is of less significance. Which means that when you come to this area, it can possibly do this and go through it. It can maybe even react a bit and then go through it. It can even hold and then go through it. This area is of less importance. There is more buying pressure than selling pressure. This area is of less importance. All good so far?
Mm-hmm.
However, if this comes in with higher volume, then of course you say, I will buy it, but I have to stop. I have to come out. You know how when you have a big range, you know how we say buy low and then come out because sellers may be ready to sell from the top? If you have, of course, high selling pressure at the top, so you say, okay, I'm getting an opportunity to buy it, but my target is only up to here. I can't hold any further. So the overview volume begins to give you information about, okay, how much should you hold where should you hold to, what your targets are, and so on.
I have a question.
Yeah.
With the high value, we mean when it's break down or up or the whole consolidation?
It's the area. So high volume at the top,
Yeah, okay.
high volume at the bottom.
Not just the breakdown.
No, it's just it's the overall. And I'll talk about this tomorrow a lot more. But for now, it's the high volume around that top area. Okay, what else? Tell me, ask me more questions if there's anything concerning before I go deeper.
Or deep.
So far, what we've discussed is, we've said, what is the overview volume of, from bottom to top or top to bottom, doesn't matter. But what's the overview volume? Don't forget, the same volume is also within that trap area. The same volume is also within that trap area. So tomorrow, what we will do is we'll say, how does that volume, that high volume that sits within that trap area, what does it mean? If the volume is more on this end, that end, that end, this end, that end, that end, what does that mean? And how can we make use of that information? How can we say get involved earlier or later based on that information? That volume analysis inside the trap, we call it more detailed volume analysis, which is within that trap. But I want you to keep in mind that at the end, it's the same volume, same move up. So you have that move up, you have the same volume, and for that move up to happen, you need a trap. For that move down to happen, you need a trap. So it's the same information. All we're doing is we're saying, what does this volume mean for the whole bigger bird's eye view? And what does this volume mean inside that trap specifically? Yeah, so we'll talk about the volume inside the trap tomorrow. Yeah. Do you all see the connection so far?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. You all are very quiet, so either you're very confused or you're good.
You get shocked.
Shocked?
I'm good.
No, I'm straight.
Good.
Good. Okay, good.
Every time you think you go, every time you say it, you're going deep. I was wondering, more deep than this? It's like
Oh yes, we haven't started yet.
Go deeper, man. Deeper. Go.
Yes. Yeah.
Actually, a quick question for you. I mean, I don't have the volume thing unlocked. Just so I can monitor this on my own and see it in markets. I'm assuming you're probably gonna get to it at some point, but is there something that we add to our charts in order to be able to see this?
Yeah, I'll show you. I'll show you an example in a minute. But to be honest, you'll see some colorful volumes at the bottom on my chart. You don't have to worry about it. Just pick any volumes that you currently use, and if you don't use any volumes, add the normal volumes that you have on your platform.
Very cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a question, but not regarding to this. Sometimes when I compare But the charts is look different from TradingView and the platform I usually use. Is that normal or?
So, I mean, generally the whole feeling of TradingView versus, let's say, MT4 or your platform that you use, the feeling is different. But because, let's say, the candle size is so and so on TradingView compared to other platforms, or the whole background, but the price action would be the same. That's one thing. The other thing is that sometimes in terms of pricing, you might have some discrepancies. Let's say if I take you to, and it's minor, it's not something to worry about. Let's say on TradingView, your price that it's plotting is based on FXCM. That's the one that we have picked. So your volumes and your price is based on FXCM. Your prices on your platform would be based on your platform. Your volumes on your platform were based on your platform. So even, for example, these volumes over here is based on FXCM platform or broker. So as long as you're seeing your price action with your volume on your broker, on your platform, then you're comparing like with like. That's fine. But let's say, for example, if one is looking at price action on TradingView and comparing it with the volume on other broker platform, then one shouldn't do that.
But I usually do my analysis on TradingView. It's more clear.
It's more easier. Yes. Same. Yeah.
Then I take the trade in my platform. It's like I'm guessing now. It should be sell or buy.
Yeah, but you're not guessing. Like whatever analysis you're doing on your TradingView is a live market. It's from the FXCM broker. So if you're only using your platform to trade and to execute trades, that's fine. That's what we all do. I don't use my own broker for analysis. It's just to the charts are very they're not friendly enough.
Yeah.
So I think what you're doing is what we all do.
Thank you.
Now, let's have a quick look at an example of an overview volume, and maybe I can bring up and I want you to keep it that simple for now. I will go deeper into this. So if I was to show you, okay, we have top, we have bottom. Yeah. Now, and then you have your price coming down from top to bottom. If I bring in my cursor and bring it down all the way to where the volumes are, and I stop where the highest volumes are right now, do you see more volumes at the bottom or do you see more volumes at the top? So do you see more volumes at the bottom or you see more volumes at the top?
Bottom.
Down.
At the bottom?
Bottom, I think.
Yeah. Do you all agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah. That simply shows you there is more buying pressure at the bottom. Now, don't worry about, but what is the overall story of this? Is this buying pressure going to create an uptrend? Don't worry about that. That's something we'll cover properly in the future. But what it's telling us is that from here to here, there is more buying pressure coming in at the moment. There is more buyers showing up at the moment compared to selling pressure. Yeah. And we'll go deeper into, okay, what does that mean? What do we do? How do we use it? And so on. Okay, so like I said, even if you don't have any of these, I don't even use these colorful volumes. It's just looking at where the highest volume is. Come down, okay, there's more high volume at the bottom than at the top. That's fine. That's all you need volumes for. Yeah, for example, over here, then you can also compare, let's say, bottom with top, and you say, okay, let me bring my cursor down. Is there more volume at the bottom or at the top? What would you say?
It's still at the bottom,
Still at the bottom.
I would say.
Yeah. Still at the bottom. There's still more buying pressure than selling pressure. Okay. Now tomorrow we say, I can see a trap, the same volume. What does it mean? What does these volume mean inside that trap? Where is the volume right now? Is it more this end, that end, that end, that end? What does it mean? And if I can understand this information, can I get involved earlier? Can I get involved within this trap? And we'll talk about that. Yeah, if everything is making sense so far, right? The coming sessions, we're going to open things up to say, okay, well, now this is how we go even deeper. Okay, so that's there's a lot of information to take on today, so definitely you might need to rewatch pieces of this video where you need to, but please try your best to sit down, understand whatever we've spoken about today, and come tomorrow and say, well, I understand everything, I'm ready to move forward. I don't want anyone to fall behind because I'm going to go deeper tomorrow. I want you all to be on top if you can, please. It's a two-week program, so there's a lot of information to take on, but as long as you are on top on a daily basis, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Is everything making sense so far?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we've got another five minutes. Tell me, is there any concerns, any questions, any comment you'd like to talk about?
Yeah, interesting that today we learned more about apps and something about volume, overall volume trend. And yeah, we are very curious about volume into the trap.
Yeah, it's actually amazing, the volumes in the trap. It's quite important, very important.
I have a general question about the volume. Is it? It's like difficult to know about volume forex market. Is that right? It's not like the other market to measure volume in forex market.
Yeah, with the forex market, what generally happens is that every broker is an exchange on its own. So you have, let's say, FXCM, then you have all the buyers and sellers putting in their or investing or trading through FXCM, and then the volume that comes out of FXCM is to do with all the transactions that have gone through FXCM only, not the bigger picture, right? But if you think about it, in a way, it's enough for us because then you're comparing the volume for FXCM and you say, okay, well, what's happening when the price is going up and down, and how does the volume show up? So all you're doing is, if you took FXCM as, say, your volume, and you put it inside the bigger, like all the brokers, everyone trading, let's say, pound USD, then generally you'll have the same result because the volumes would still be for the bigger picture. Whereas the volumes that we're looking at right now is also for a bigger picture, but within FXCM. So relatively, it's giving you a picture of what's happening overall, if that makes sense. It's hard to explain, but it's on a relative, say, view, it's still giving you the right information.
Can we put it this way, that the price action will be similar?
Yes, for sure. Yes.
Quick question for you.
Yes.
Hey, actually it's twofold. So real fast, I'm assuming it's 2 weeks versus 4 weeks. You guys are just making this more condensed. Like you guys can teach the information faster, I assume. It's my first time in here.
Yes. So it's going to be more condensed. However, what's going to happen is that you're going to have a month worth of recording to watch after the 2 weeks. So as long as you are with me on every day and you understand what I'm showing you on a daily basis, and you say follow through, then let's say if you have any if you need a bit more time to rewatch the videos and confirm a few things here and there, then yes, you'll have the videos. But compared to the monthly, the 4 weeks, yes, it's a bit more condensed, just so you can get the information.
Gotcha. I was just curious. It's not nothing I'm concerned about. I'm catching on fast. It's nothing too complicated so far. And second is as I'm establishing the Forex broker right now, I didn't trade Forex previously. I've been trading futures.
Okay.
But everything I've learned so far from Urban Forex and what you taught recently in terms of the traps, I'm seeing in the futures market on a much faster time frame.
Yes.
I'm looking to slow down and go to slower time frames so that I can do better analysis, because I can't do it as fast. But I'm just curious that I'm assuming all these concepts obviously pertain to every single market, and it doesn't really matter, right? So I can continue to see these things in practice in the futures market, correct? While I get a Forex broker.
100%.
Right. Yeah, I saw like a major traps yesterday, and I was watching all day as the market's going live. So I just want to confirm that with you. And yeah, that's it. Thanks, man.
No worries. 100%. Yeah. I think that the only good thing you will notice towards the end of next week is that with FX, the correlation will help you a lot.
Yeah, I don't have correlation to real, so I don't have as much of a story or as much ammunition as you guys have in terms of, being able to figure out where price is going by looking at 6 or 8 other pairs, right? I'm just using one market and deciding, okay, here's a trap. I'm seeing overall general flow is down, right? And that trap actually, went through. So I'm seeing what you're talking about already in just one day. But I just wanted to confirm and just make sure everything is I'm sure you guys, promote FX for a reason, obviously due to correlation, and I'm assuming there's more edge there when it comes to being able to, correlation and fundamentals combined, as opposed to just looking at one market, like I am. But anyway, I just wanted to confirm that, and part of me always deep down wanted to know why Naveen doesn't trade futures anymore, because I heard he did at one point.
Okay.
So I just wanted to confirm that. But anyway, looks like you got the answers for me, so thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
No worries. No worries. All right. Well, let's leave it to there, and we'll go deeper tomorrow. I promise.
Looking forward to it. Thanks a lot.
No worries. Take care. I'll see you all tomorrow.
Thanks, Ali. Bye.
Thank you, Ali.
Cheers.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Ali.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Hello.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.